Here is the 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Limited in Portofino gray over black interior. This is all new this year. The hybrid configuration getting a combined of 51 MPGs. This is the best in class for highway MPGs, and I'm going to go over the pros and cons and the problem that I have with the new hybrid and comparable rivals. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. Starting off, all of the Sonatas are going to get 5.3 inches of clearance. The LED daytime runnings are going to spin across the whole hood with the new flat Hyundai badging and standard LED headlights. The lower is still going to look sporty, even though this is not the inline configuration. And when you go hybrid, all of the trims are going to have the same bumper configuration. But comparing this against Honda, this is going to look a lot more dynamic. And the same thing with the new Toyota Camry, because that's going to look similar to the Crown, whereas this looks like a little sports car. And housed underneath the hood, all of the hybrids are going to have the 2.0 liter four-cylinder hybrid engine. That's giving us a combined of 192 horsepower paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission, achieving 44 MPGs for the city, 51 MPGs for the highway, which is the best in class. When you're thinking about the new Toyota, this outperforms it. Now, not in the city, but it outperforms Honda on both perimeters. 17-inch wheels is the only configuration you can get when you get into the hybrid. Whereas in the SEL, it starts as a 17-inch, add the convenience package, it goes to an 18-inch, and get the inline. Now you're getting a sport-tuned suspension, upgraded brakes, and a 19-inch wheel, and the side skirt flares out. When you get into this trim, it is the only way you can option the side view blind spot monitoring, which when you use your indicators, the cameras on the side, you'll see them on the 12.3 digital gauge reader, so it makes it a little bit easier for safety. And going back against the rivals, nobody in its class even has that. Plus, this is going to get a 360-degree reverse camera standard, as well as a pano moonroof, which you have to option in the new Camry, even if you go into the XSE trim, where I feel like the SE is the sweet spot. You're getting a sport-tuned suspension, but you don't need that configuration when you're looking for better MPGs. The problem that I have is the hybrid can only be optioned as a front-wheel drive. And when I'm thinking about the rivals, you can get them both as an all-wheel drive setup. The rear doesn't get a spoiler lip, however, it's going to configure similar to it that integrates into the H-styled combination LED taillights. The lower keeps that aggressive sporty style, and if you want more sport, I hate to say it, you got to downgrade to the inline, so you have the exhaust outlets exposed, but you're getting the front and rear parking sensors. Plus, when you go into this trim, you're getting a power liftgate. Going into 15.6 cubic feet, you get a storage net here. And underneath the floor, you can also split fold the rear bench in the back by pulling these tabs, and that's going to increase the cargo capacity to the hybrid. Ten-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 4-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, heated and ventilated front seats, leather upholstery memory for the driver. Headroom and leg room. The driver focus setup on the hybrid is going to have a lot more luxury, especially when you're going into the Limited, because you get the heads-up display, a more soft dashboard layout with the brushed aluminum that's going to go underneath the two 12.3 informational displays, one with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio. And you can also move this out if you could get it right. That way it'll expand out for the full screen. Put it into reverse. We have a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear. This is the only trim that offers it with the 3D view, which means you can go all around the vehicle. You can also zoom up as well. When you click onto here, you have some different camera layouts as well for just a reverse camera, more or less, the side angles, and if you want a full reverse camera for the back. Going into dual climate control settings, which is standard. This is a touch pad, so I do like that. And another pro, because we have the ventilated seats, they add the blue arrow. When you don't have the ventilated seats, you still have the arrow, but it'll just lower the heated seats. So it's not something that's like an eyesore. USB ports, 12 volts. Wireless charging pad, and the key fob for the new hybrid Sonata. Driving mode select, which you have a total of 3 different driving modes, which this is a full 12.3 digital reader, and we have the blind spot monitor view, which means when you use your indicators, you can see the camera on either side. Plus, you can go through an array of information for the driver, including the turn-by-turn navigation. And if you want to change the whole configuration, you go into here, click Home, slide it over into Setup, go into Screen Layout, and now you can change the gauge cluster layout. You can also change the graphic style. Leather wrap steering wheel, it's heated, multi-function. The paddle shifts. The gear lever is now on the steering column, and it's going to be soft to touch where it needs to be. Opens up into a deep storage pocket. It is pushed back a little bit with a large pano moonroof. LED interior lights, 64 color ambient lighting, auto dimming rear view mirror, Bose upgraded sound system, soft to touch pretty much everywhere where it needs to be. One touch up and down for the front windows that are dual pane with a long storage pocket. For the back seats, headroom and leg room. Storage will be only behind the passenger seat with a net. 2 air vents, USB ports, cup holders with armrests, and manual sunshades. Door panel is going to have the same configuration that is found in the front, except the storage pocket is a little bit smaller. Sliding into the center, the floor isn't flat, and you're going to share some feet space, but leg and shoulder space is actually not too bad because the way the seats are. As for headroom, though, it becomes a little bit tight unless I scoot down a bit like this. Because of the way the headliner is carved out, it's really more or less for the side. If you scoot down, knee space starts becoming an issue. 192 horsepower, which is the least in class compared to Honda and Toyota. But you're not getting an eCVT transmission, you're getting a 6-speed automatic transmission. Because it is a hybrid, the engine will cut on and off, so it can be quiet. We're going to see some of the performance right now. I mean, it's a hybrid. You're getting awesome MPGs, even if you floor it. The exhaust note will filter in a little bit, plus you'll hear some of the engine. But for the day in and day out use, it's pretty quiet on that perimeter. But the sound deadening could be a little bit better because I do hear quite a bit of road noise, and we're on 17-inch wheels. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is the MPGs, the standard amenities that you get, because nobody in class is going to give you that at the price that you're at with the Sonata. The interior is actually more comfortable than the non-hybrid. The seat extends out a little bit more so for your butt. And because it's a leather seat, the actual cushion to it itself is more comfortable. Ventilated seats, which make it nice for me because I'm in the heat of Florida. When you use your indicators, you can see it in the gauge cluster, which no vehicle does that except for Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. And you're getting Genesis components at a discounted price with a warranty of luxury. Now on the cons, driver focus setup, the big problem that I have, it doesn't have all-wheel drive configuration at all for the hybrid. It's a little bit more noisy. And you can't option any features a la carte. So you either get the SEL, add the convenience package, which when you do so, you're going to get the wireless charging pad, you'll get the digital gauge cluster, you'll get a leather wrap steering wheel, a pano moonroof, but then you can't get all-wheel drive. And if you get the SEL, you can't get those features, but then you'll get all-wheel drive. So the configuration that they do is a little quirky. But when you're thinking about competition, but taking me back to Honda, you have to go all the way up the tier in order to get the same features as this, in which it's going to cost around 50 grand, if not more. So you're saving over $10,000 here. As for Toyota, I did the XSE, add a couple of these features and you're at 42, 43 grand. This is just at 40,000 and it's fully loaded. So I feel that Hyundai has stepped up the game quite a bit, making competition not as much, giving the competition a run for its money. And when you're thinking, Hyundai actually came out with their reconfiguration before Toyota. So Toyota kind of already knew what was going on. Why didn't they implement some of the same things here so you get the cost savings? I understand Honda, they did it a few years back, so therefore this is obviously going to have better features and pricing. but let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise website and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Edel Hyundai of Lakewood for giving us this 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Limited for our car review.